Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I once again welcome you back for your chemistry online class. Let's proceed on with the chapter, that is carbon and its compounds. So I told you about the different types of fire extinguishers, and proceeding on with the chapter, that is carbon cycle. What is carbon cycle? You have come across this term several times. That is it is the circulation and transformation of carbon back and forth between the living things and the environment. That is the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere we know is 0.03%. That is a very small amount is there. Is that clear? And it remains balanced through the carbon cycle. Carbon dioxide is introduced in atmosphere and consumed continuously. Thus, the addition of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is balanced by its removal. So, certain activities are there or certain processes are there which add carbon dioxide to the environment, or they add up carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and certain activities are there which remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So, the activities which add carbon dioxide in the atmosphere are, of course, first is respiration of human beings, animals and plants. All these processes, they add up carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Is that clear? Then by the decay of dead plants and animals, by combustion of fuels. Decay is the process that occurs when dead animals, dead plants and waste material such as sewage, human waste and plant waste in the form of compost are broken down or decomposed by microorganisms found in the soil. So, this is the process which adds up carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. In the combustion and the burning of the fuels, that is any carbon containing compounds like coal, coke, they are burnt, then it results in the adding up of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Fumes which are being emitted by the industries through the chimneys also are the source of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So, these fumes contain carbon dioxide and they are one of the sources for the greenhouse effect also, the amount of pollution that they cause. Apart from this, the carbon dioxide is also added by seawater when percentage of carbon dioxide increases in the water. That is, when percentage of carbon dioxide increases in water, then this carbon dioxide is added in the atmosphere. Next is by the volcanic eruptions, the lava that comes out and the smoke that is emitted out also contains carbon dioxide. Then how is carbon dioxide removed from the atmosphere? It is by the process of photosynthesis, that is, the plants use carbon dioxide and water to make food or synthesize food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and gives out oxygen. So, this is how whatever carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere is used, and it is also used by dissolution of carbon dioxide in water. So, that is ocean absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, creating carbonic acid in the water. So, this is also a process which removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So, we all are aware of the greenhouse effect and global warming, isn't it? So, what is the greenhouse effect? What is the greenhouse? First, let us understand this. That is, in colder regions, the plants, if grown outside, they might not be able to survive just because of extreme cold. So, people grow plants in a house made of glass walls. You can see this is having glass walls as well as the glass ceiling. This is the picture of a greenhouse, and these glass walls allow, what do? They allow the sun heat to come inside. They allow to come inside. Is that clear? But they do not allow it to escape. All the heat that has been accumulated over there or has collected over there or has entered the greenhouse is not able to escape back. Is that clear? It is not able to escape back. So, what happens that it causes a warming effect. So, it makes the glass house warm from inside, and this is the reason the plants can easily grow in the glass house, just because of the warming effect caused by the sun inside the glass house, greenhouse. Is that clear? Similarly, what is happening is that radiation of the sun strike the earth's surface and get reflected. This is the normal process. But what is happening is that carbon dioxide that is present around the earth's atmosphere, in the earth's atmosphere, it traps some of these radiation and prevents them from escaping. Is that clear? It prevents them from escaping. So, they are not able to escape back, and this, what does it do? Again, this causes a warming effect. This keeps the earth warm and makes the existence of life possible. Is that clear? So, the gases that trap the solar radiation, they are called as greenhouse gases. So, what is happening? That the normal process is that radiation of the sun strike the earth's surface and get reflected. They strike the earth's surface and then they get reflected back. And whatever carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere and other greenhouse gases, what do? They form a layer, and they do not allow the gases to escape back, and this causes a warming effect. So, the gases that trap the solar radiation are called greenhouse gases, and carbon dioxide being one of them. Is that clear? Some other greenhouse gases are of course methane, water vapor, ozone, chlorofluorocarbons and oxides of nitrogen. Is that clear? So, the warming up of the earth's atmosphere due to the trapping of the heat radiation by greenhouse gases in the atmosphere is called the greenhouse effect. Is that clear? So, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is increased due to excessive burning of fuels and other such activities, like other greenhouse gases also introduced in the atmosphere through excessive use of air conditioners and refrigerators and certain other processes which are adding up these greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, and it has increased the rate of greenhouse effect that leads to increase in the average temperature of the earth. Is that clear? Just because day by day these greenhouse gases are increasing around the earth in the atmosphere, so the warming effect is also increasing, and it is resulting in an increase in the overall average temperature of the earth. So, global warming is the rise in the average temperature of the earth's atmosphere. Is that clear? So, what are the effects of global warming? What are the different effects? Global warming adversely affects the monsoon rains. Is that clear? The rainfall patterns have been affected in areas which had regular rainfall during the monsoon months. Now they are drought prone. The rains are not regular, and rainfall can be at any time of the year. At times there are big gaps and drought is there in those areas. Apart from this, it causes a change in the pattern of seasons. Seasons also change, that is, winters are shortened and summers the months, summer months, that the summer earlier, what did you see? Or in fact not you, but we at Silvan, October was a month which is considered the onset of winters, but now at the end of October or just in the beginning of the first week of November, the winter onset is seen. So, there is a change in the pattern of season. Then the melting of polar ice, thereby raising the level of water in seas and ocean, and recently a glacier has melted, and that has caused rise in the level of water of river Ganga, and the areas which are adjoining areas of river Ganga and wherever this river is passing have been of course alert, they have been given red alert just because of the melting of the glacier. So, it causes melting of polar ice, thereby raising the level of water in seas and ocean. This may cause floods in the coastal areas and submerge many low lying areas, just because the areas which are near the ocean, they might be submerged in the future just because of the increase in the temperature, overall increase in the average temperature. There are extremes of weather condition, extreme events. There are so many um, like for example cyclones and typhoons, and new types of cyclones are there with various names. Then extinction of animals and plant species, food security threat for humans just because of the change in the pattern of seasons, especially the monsoon seasons. The growth of the crops is affected. Then what are the steps that we can adopt to prevent global warming? That is, global warming can be reduced by maintaining the balance of carbon dioxide in air. Now, it can be done by reducing the consumption of fossil fuels like petrol, diesel, and using smokeless sources of energy like solar energy and biogas, and using filters in the chimneys of factories, and by growing more and more trees. So, reducing the pollution level, and by reducing the use of these vehicles which are using the fossil fuels are one of the ways in which the global warming can be prevented. Is it clear? And the exercise on page number 147. Which of the following is used in fire extinguisher to extinguish gas? It is carbon dioxide. Is it clear? Then which of the in foam type fire extinguisher sodium bicarbonate reacts with? Yes, carbon dioxide. Then second is in foam type fire extinguisher sodium bicarbonate reacts with aluminum sulfate. Then which of the following fire extinguisher is used to put off the electrical fire? Yes, it is liquid carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. Yes, is it clear? That is the liquid carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. It is used to extinguish the electrical fires, right? The next is percentage of carbon dioxide in atmosphere is balanced by sulfur, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. Yes, which cycles is it being balanced by? It is being balanced through different cycles, both B and C, or A and B, sorry. Percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is balanced by, this we will discuss in the class. Then which of the following activities does not contribute towards the addition of carbon dioxide? Respiration, volcanic eruption, photosynthesis, and combustion of fuels. It is photosynthesis because it removes carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Which of the following is not a greenhouse gas? It is of course oxygen. Then try to do these, fill in the blanks. Then carbon monoxide. Then carbon monoxide is a compound of carbon and it contains one atom of carbon and one atom of oxygen, and it is a very poisonous gas. So, carbon monoxide does not occur naturally, but we know that it is released as an exhaust from automobiles, and it occurs in volcanic gases. You can see the gas, volcanic smoke coming out of the volcano, and this contains carbon monoxide. Apart from this, the tobacco smoke or the cigarette fumes also contain the carbon monoxide. And how is carbon monoxide formed? So, when carbon or its compound is burned in a limited supply of air, for instance in a closed room we burn coal, and what will happen, that this carbon dioxide, whatever oxygen is there, that will be used up, and as a result of this incomplete combustion of carbon monoxide will be produced. Is it clear? So, carbon monoxide is also produced by the incomplete combustion of wood and animal dung cakes, and people use chula, especially in the villages, to cook their food. So, for burning, they as a fuel they use wood, or they use the cow dung cakes. So, what do they are burnt in an open furnace, and you can see this is an open furnace and made by bricks and clay and named as chula for cooking food. During this process, a noticeable amount of harmful carbon monoxide gas is released in the environment. Is that clear? So, coal or coke is used in domestic and industrial ovens, and in an oven also what is happening, that carbon burns in the presence of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide passes through the heated layers of coke and get reduced to carbon monoxide. So, this is happening in the oven when, that is when it is burning, carbon burns in the presence of oxygen to form carbon dioxide, and then when it moves on to the deeper layers and comes in contact with coke, it forms carbon monoxide. So, carbon monoxide burns with a pale blue flame and forms carbon dioxide at the top of the oven. Exactly at the top of the oven, carbon dioxide is formed. And in automobiles, petrol or diesel is used as fuel. Both petrol and diesel, they contain carbon and hydrogen. So, they burn in limited supply of oxygen and thus form carbon monoxide. So, all these sources, whether they are fossil fuels or whether they are the cow dung or wood, all these, when they burn, they emit carbon monoxide, which is a poisonous gas. What are the properties of carbon monoxide? That it is a colorless gas and it has faint odor and a highly poisonous gas. It is a highly poisonous gas just because it causes carbon monoxide poisoning, and it is a non-supporter of combustion. It is combustible and burns with a blue flame that I had shown you just now to form carbon dioxide, and it is sparingly soluble in water, that is, it is slightly soluble in water. It does not decompose even at high temperatures because it is thermally stable. No matter how much you heat this gas, just because it is unaffected by heat or increased temperature, it does not break up into carbon and oxygen. So, we all know that carbon monoxide is a reducing agent also, and it is a strong reducing agent, that is, it removes oxygen from a compound just because it has a strong affinity for oxygen. It reduces the oxides of less reactive metal to the respective metals. For example, see in all these three reactions, that is ferric oxide. Now, carbon monoxide is helping in what? It is helping in the removal of oxygen from ferric oxide and changing it into iron. Is that clear? That is 3Fe. Is it clear? So, carbon monoxide is acting as a reducing agent. Similarly, you can see then carbon, this, it has great affinity for oxygen, and so it forms carbon dioxide. Similarly, in this cupric oxide has been reduced to copper, and here we have carbon monoxide as the reducing agent, and it has great affinity for oxygen. Carbon monoxide forms carbon dioxide, and the third reaction also, lead monoxide has been reduced to lead and carbon monoxide is converted to carbon dioxide. So, it is a strong reducing agent. Then harmful effects of carbon monoxide. Sleeping in a closed room with a coal fire is dangerous, just because in a closed room there is a limited supply of oxygen in a closed room. So, we should never sleep in a closed room. Otherwise also we should keep something open, whether a part of the window or ventilator should be left open. And when there is a coal fire burning inside, then of course there will be production of carbon monoxide, and we inhale carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin to form a very stable compound which is known as carboxyhemoglobin. Is that clear? It forms carboxyhemoglobin. I am writing the short form of hemoglobin, that is HB. You do not have to write, you have to write the full spelling. So, this is a very stable compound, and carboxyhemoglobin does what? It reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of blood, and it results in the headache and suffocation. A person feels headache, suffers from headache and suffocation, that is difficulty to breathe as the lesser oxygen is reaching, and in severe cases it may also cause death. Is that clear? So, burning of fuels in automobile produce carbon monoxide gas along with other gases, and when we start a car engine inside a closed garage, carbon monoxide is produced. It may increase the risk of poisoning. So, So, we should be careful, we should open the garage before starting the vehicle. Smoke from tobacco also contains traces of carbon monoxide and it can damage the respiratory system. Then what are the remedies for carbon monoxide poisoning? That is, the victim should be given artificial respiration with carbogen, which we had discussed. That is a mixture of 95% oxygen and 5% carbon, and the victim should be brought into open. So, these are the remedies for carbon monoxide poisoning, that is artificial respiration, and the victim should be brought in open. Then precautions to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning is that when the concentration of carbon monoxide increases, we should wear gas mask. This is the picture of a gas mask, and these masks absorb carbon monoxide and oxidize it to carbon dioxide. Such masks are made of hopcolite. Is that clear? Hopcolite. And carbon monoxide inhalation, such as that when you have inhaled, we have taken in carbon monoxides, such as that from automobile exhaust and the smoke emission from a lighted cigarette. What does it cause? It causes a lack of oxygen, a condition which is known as asphyxia, a feeling of suffocation, as if there is severe lack of oxygen in the body, and the lack of oxygen is prolonged, unconsciousness take place and death will occur. Is that clear? This is the carbon monoxide poisoning. Just because I have told you that it forms a stable compound called carboxyhemoglobin, and which reduces the oxygen capacity of blood and result in headache and suffocation and ultimately death if not treated on time. Then let us discuss the exercise. Which of the following is produced when carbon or its compounds are burned in a limited supply of air? It is carbon monoxide. Then which of the following is not a property of carbon monoxide gas? Yes, it is poisonous gas, it is colorless gas, faint odor and non-combustible. It is a combustible gas and burns with a blue flame. Is that clear? So, non-combustible is not the property of carbon monoxide. When ferric oxide reacts with carbon monoxide, gets reduced to, yes, iron. Then which of the following is not an effect of carbon monoxide? Carboxyhemoglobin reduces oxygen carrying capacity. Smoke from tobacco damages respiratory system. Helps in photosynthesis in plants, causes headache and suffocation. Helps in photosynthesis. Is it clear? Carbon dioxide helps, not carbon monoxide. Now try to do this true and false on your own. This completes lesson number 9, and inshallah we will discuss the exercise in the next session. Allah Hafiz.